Can Hibs derail Celtic's title hopes? Will Aberdeen build on their cup success? And can Hearts bounce back from that Ibrox defeat? I'm Charlotte Cohen and I'm joined by Cammy, Kerr and Joelle Murray to bring you the lowdown on this weekend. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Football Podcast, all the news, views and analysis you need on Friday the 20th of February. And we've got some exciting games to bring you this weekend.
And it comes a big chance, and Uka scores! Oh, what a finish once again!
Oh, brilliant from Nicky Cannon, it looks over the line! Oh, a goal's been given! A goal's been given!
Celtic host Hibs in the second of 5 games that will define their season. Dundee travel to Pittodrie looking to get themselves out of the relegation pack.
Nisbet with the free kicks deflected in! Kevin Nisbet finds the net! Into the right corner it goes! It's double jeopardy for Motherwell!
Fresh from knocking Motherwell out of the cup, can Aberdeen go on a winning run? And can Hearts get back on track after defeat to Rangers last week?
Shaviti on a hat-trick and Shaviti scores! And it's an almighty victory for Rangers!
We'll fill you in on a massive weekend of Premiership action.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
And alongside me to do that, Hibs legend, Hibs women's head coach, Joelle Murray. Joelle, morning, how are you? How are you enjoying the head coach life? For a wee while into it now, how's it been going?
Yeah, morning Charlotte. It's been going good. Good so far. I've really enjoyed it. It's had its challenges, which I knew would be the case. But good challenges and challenges that I have been embracing. So yeah, it's been an enjoyable start so far.
And you've still got time for us, which is always nice.
Always.
And alongside us, Livingston defender Cammy. Cammy, how are you? How's the season been for you from a Livy point of view?
Yeah, well, from a Livy point of view, we're obviously disappointed where we are in the league. But still, plenty of fight left in us in the remaining games. And on a personal note, I've had a tough season with injury, but I'm back in amongst it now. So hoping to, have a bit of input into the team and into the end of the season and help them as much as I can.
Love that attitude, Cammy.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get straight into it. Start with Sunday's games. Celtic hosting Hibs last night was yet another humbling European night for Celtic. Heavy defeat to Stuttgart. Cammy, how will that affect them, not just from a mental point of view on being beaten like that, but also from a physical point of view as well? I mean, Martin O'Neill wasn't even thinking about rotating last night, and you could see he put out his strongest team. So how will that affect them on both a mental and a physical level?
Yeah, I think physically is the big one that Martin O'Neill will be looking at after last night. Yeah, it's a heavy defeat, but I think everyone, obviously Celtic, is the focus is on has to be the league. As you rightly said, they did put out a strong team, and it's a tough one to take, especially at home. It's a really big one. Fans will be majorly disappointed, but I think there's enough in the building at Celtic to know that the attention quickly turns to Sunday's game. It is a massive game against a very tough opposition, and the week they had before is a week that I've probably never seen in football. 3 last minute goals in a week. I think only Celtic could do that. I really do. Like the mentality that they've got at the club, and they'll be ready to go again at the weekend. I genuinely believe they'll be ready to go come Sunday. And as you say, another massive game for them.
Yeah, another massive game before another massive game and another massive game. I mean, this is, Joelle, a massive run for Celtic at the moment. I mean, Hibs at the weekend, and then they're away to Stuttgart midweek before Rangers at Ibrox, and then Aberdeen away the following week. I mean, just how vital do you think this is for them?
Yeah, I think it's certainly a vital period for Celtic, and I guess it's one of those ones, Charlotte, when you're in these competitions and games coming thick and fast, it's the consequences of being the best team and being the best team for so long. So I think last night was certainly a devastating result. I think Celtic, like Cammy said, have the quality within the squad to ensure that come Sunday, they'll be fresh and good to go for Hibs. And I think Hibs in particular have been a team that have played Celtic on the back of these European midweek games quite frequently. And you almost expect a little bit of a dip in Celtic's performances, a little bit of fatigue, but they surprise you all the time because, like Cammy said, the turnaround in such a short period of time and the quality that they then produce at the weekend is really, really impressive. So no doubt Celtic will arrive on Sunday on the back of as I say, a devastating, really, really poor performance and result midweek. But they'll be good to go on Sunday for the welcome of Hibs.
And Cammy, you'll know in this league just how important it is to pick up points. And I suppose for Celtic, given the title fight that they're in, this game and the game against Aberdeen as well in particular just become must-wins for them.
Yeah, it is, but that's the pressure of playing for Celtic, and it's a must-win every week. I know everyone says that all the time, but for teams like Celtic, it is. And you know, we were. I look at a personal level. We went there last week and done great for 93 minutes and lose a great goal. They went and done it to two other teams within the week, one in the cup against Dundee, and then they were 2-0 down against Killie, and they still come back and win the game. And if you're honest, you know, not many other teams, as I said, could do that. And the mentality that they've got, and I know the manager that Martin O'Neill is, he'll have everyone ready to go at the weekend. That's for sure.
I wonder, Cammy, see when those late goals went in after you guys played them, were you all a bit like, okay, this wasn't an us thing, this was a Celtic being Celtic thing?
Yeah, a wee bit. I mean, I was off the pitch, and I actually did have a feeling that we'd do it, but there's just something that you can never take for granted, especially at this level. I keep going back to it. Celtic, they have so much possession, they tire you out mentally, physically, probably what they were last night from Stuttgart, and they're relentless. They just keep going. They have quality players that they've brought in, like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's like of real quality. Like, you talk about a top signing, he's a top signing that's going to get, I believe, Celtic over the line at the end of the season.
Interesting. And I mean, they face Hibs, Joelle, who I think I've said numerous times on this podcast, very up and down season for them. Seems like though they're maybe finding a little bit of form at the moment. Yeah,
I would agree. I think obviously the last game against St Mirren was a good result and a really good performance, a really professional performance, and I think the business that the club done in the January window, bringing in the kind of more attacking, creative players in Scarlett, Elding, Shuto to complement what's already there, I think has been a really good bit of business. Had a few injuries, especially at the back in particular. Grant Hanley, who's a big miss, Warren O'Hora, who's just come back. So yeah, I think the squad is becoming a lot more healthier. Couple that with the additions in January, and I think they will go on hopefully a really good run.
Yeah, Cammy, what do you expect from Hibs? Do you think they're going to be pushing for those European places towards the end of the season?
Yeah, they'll be looking to push. I think I totally agree with Joelle. I think they've had injuries that have come at a bad time. I look at people like Josh Mulligan, who I think they had a very settled team probably October, November before he got injured, and I'm not just saying that because I played with him, but I think he's been a great signing for Hibs. He's so tenacious in the midfield, his energy, his power, and I think they had a pretty settled team, but they have went and strengthened well in January. I actually just was looking at their form before I came on, and they've been a wee bit up and down, especially after the Scottish Cup defeat, but I think they're starting to find their feet with, as you say, the transfers kind of settling in now. And it'll be a massive push for them now for the end of the season. And again, I think they'll run Celtic close at the weekend as well. And then you never know what happens in the end of the remaining games for them.
Yeah, if there's any time to find a bit of form, it's kind of before the split and into the split, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's just everything in that kind of vicinity and down the bottom is just looking very, very interesting. But in Sunday's other game, Rangers head to Livingston, Cammy. More generally though, Joelle, do you think Rangers are now favourites for the title after that win against Hearts?
I think favourites potentially a little bit strong, but I think if you're looking at the form team out of the so-called top three and the three teams that are up there competing, I think Rangers are that team. I think they've got players coming into form at the right time. Chermiti, the one in particular, seems to be a big game player for them. Obviously Raskin, and then their players like Tavernier and players like that come on and really solidify what they've already done up until that point so far. So I think if you're looking at a form team, Rangers are certainly that team in my opinion, and look like they've got a bit of momentum, they've got a bit of consistency, and I think that result against Hearts was huge. Showed a great. We talk about Celtic's character, coming back from losing positions. I think that showed a real good test of Rangers' character at the weekend, and they stood up to the test.
I enjoyed, Joelle, you mentioning Chermiti there and calling him a big game player. That's interesting because I suppose he scored a hat-trick against Hearts. He scored 2 against Celtic. He's kind of been not really scoring outside of those 2 games, but Cammy, do you think this is him hitting his form now?
Yeah, I still think that he'll have dips in form because I think he's still reasonably young. And I also think that because he comes with a big price tag when he comes to Rangers, people expect him to go and just hit the ground running. It's just not the way it works for any player. There could be things like, I don't know, settling in period, family not across. It could be anything. But he's certainly a handful. He's certainly a big player. But I think the manager's got to have massive credit for what he's done at Rangers. I think people probably underestimated him when he come in, but when you look at his background, and the people he's worked with Hansi Flick, who's at Barcelona now, when he was at Bayern Munich, all these things, the experiences he'll have had to bring to Rangers, I think he'll be, maybe not this season, potentially yes, but especially going into next season, it'll be a massive coup for Rangers having him in the building. Sorry.
That's the thing, isn't it, Joelle? A lot of people have said what Cammy's just said about the mentality of Rangers since Danny Röhl has come in. I mean, you saw under Russell Martin, they just didn't really look like a team who believed they could win. And now under Röhl, we've seen them get these big results and actually look like a team who feel confident about winning games.
Yeah, they do. He's certainly instilled that and more. I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest difference between a Russell Martin Rangers and a Danny Röhl Rangers is organising structure. They've got that in abundance now, so as long as you've got that as your foundation and then you layer that with your quality players, I think you're seeing they're now reaping the fruits of that early labour from Danny Röhl. He's organised, he's structured, and then, like I said, he's getting the best out of his big top signing players and Chermiti now in particular. So yeah, I think fantastic credit to him, because I think when he first came in, maybe some of the fan base had written him off because he wasn't the name that they'd expected, but I think he's definitely the guy that Rangers needed, and that's certainly been proven so far.
Yeah, and they head to Livingston on Sunday. Cammy, how have things changed since Marvin Bartley's taken over?
Just in terms of probably the training and Marvin coming in and having his own ideas on how he wants to do things, which I give him massive credit for. It's been great. The training's been really refreshing, and he's got a way that he wants to go, and he's sticking with it, and I totally back that as somebody that wants to be, obviously Joelle does it herself now, as somebody that wants to do coaching and management. When I finish, I always look at these things and not pick holes in it, but you're always trying to learn from these people and see how you would do things. And it's been a breath of fresh air, and I give him, massive credit for what he's done up to now.
I listened to his press conference yesterday, and it was interesting because he basically said that he wasn't enjoying the job right now, and he'd be enjoying it if you stay up. I suppose every game for you guys now is do or die at the moment, but he seemed to have belief that you guys can keep yourselves in the Premiership. I mean, it's that must have trickled down into the dressing room, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose it's easy for me to come on here and say, oh yeah, we've got to believe, but if you're a professional and you don't believe that you're going to stay up with a point difference of like 8, then you shouldn't be playing, because that's easily brought back in 2-3 games. You've still got the split to play everyone in and around you, and you see how everyone knows how quickly football changes. You've got to have a real good mentality that you talk about. It's a different mentality from being up the other end of the league. You've got to have a real fight and desire and never give up. I suppose it is similar, but we're in a totally different situation. But you've got to go in every day, make sure that you're working to the best of your ability, and come a Saturday or Sunday, even against the bigger teams, you've got to believe that you're going to get something out of it, and that's got to be the way everyone in the dressing room thinks.
Yeah, otherwise, what's the point? I mean, you may as well just sack it off now, So
yeah, exactly. No, we need everyone, in this fighting in the same direction, and I believe we've got that. I'm not under no illusions how tough it is going to be, but we know that we're still in a fight, and we need to keep going to the end.
Well, you can hear Sunday's action live on Sportsound on Radio Scotland from 2 p.m. after Off the Ball at 12. Right, let's take a look at Saturday's matches. Dundee visit Aberdeen. Joelle, Aberdeen with that strange win in the Cup over Motherwell. They've got to back that up with another win, don't they?
Yeah, they absolutely do. I think strange win is an understatement, Charlotte. It was an absolutely wild game. But yeah, they need to now use that as a springboard. It was a really, really good result for them, albeit the incidents in the game probably gave them a helping hand. But yeah, they certainly need to use it as a springboard, because their league form certainly hasn't been good enough. I think one win in the last 5, certainly for a club the size of Aberdeen, is certainly not acceptable from a fan base perspective. However, when you look at this game in isolation, the stats suggest that it is a game that Aberdeen should win, but stats or particular stats don't always win you games.
That's very true. I suppose, Cammy, you guys will be hoping for a comfortable Aberdeen win. Dundee had been kind of looking like they were turning things around, but they've been struggling a little bit recently. They're only 4 points behind Aberdeen, so kind of be nice for you guys if Aberdeen can widen that gap a little bit.
Yeah, listen, we need everyone in around us, as you say, to probably be dropping points, but I think it's a massively tough game for Aberdeen. I think Dundee are much improved since the last time they went up there. It was 4-0 Aberdeen last time. I'm sure it was 4-0 Aberdeen up at Pittodrie last time, earlier on in the season. But I think Dundee are in a better place than Aberdeen are. I know that the table might not suggest it, but I think they're much improved under Stephen Presley, and I honestly do think that Aberdeen are in a really, again, probably Aberdeen fans won't thank me for saying this, they're in a really strange, odd place.
Yeah.
Just with everything that's going on, nothing looks settled. The manager situation, I look at the players, they've been signing people that when there's no manager in place. All these things are for me unsettling for a club. I think Aberdeen's a team that needs massive structure. I think it's so big, and they need a real kind of figurehead at the front of that, kind of driving that ship forward, and it doesn't seem that anyone's got that just now. I could be totally wrong, but from somebody on the outside, that's what it looks like. So yeah, it'll be a massively tough game for Aberdeen, and one that certainly won't be taken lightly. Yeah,
absolutely. And Hearts playing Falkirk elsewhere. Hearts, Joelle, looking to bounce back, as we mentioned before, from the defeat to Rangers. I mean, I don't know, how do things look if Hearts don't win this game? Is it absolute catastrophe, or, you know, do you think they'll be able to steady themselves?
I don't think it's catastrophe. I think there'll be an expectation from the fan base that this is a game they should be winning, considering how they've been performing this season. They've already beaten Falkirk twice in the league this season, so they'll be expecting a third time. Certainly, if they don't win it, it changes the picture quite drastically. Maybe moves them off that top spot, obviously depending on results elsewhere. So I think for them, they'll be looking to definitely take the 3 points, and it's all for them controlling the controllables, do what they can do, and then not focus too much elsewhere. Control what they can do, and as I say, against Falkirk, they'll be looking to turn the 2 wins so far this season into 3, and really get a reaction on the back of that 4-2 loss last weekend.
Falkirk won't be easy, Cammy. They've done remarkably well this season, actually. I mean, do you see anyone stopping them finishing in the top 6?
No, I think Falkirk will finish strong. I think the position they're in, I know they got beat off United last week, but I think Falkirk are almost in a position of no pressure now, we can just go and play. And that helps so much. I think, you know, they've overachieved massively, but that's credit to the squad and the management that they've got. And I think going into this game at the weekend again, I think honestly Falkirk will get a result. I do believe that. I think they've went there in the cup already and gave them a shock, and that could even, you know, play a part at the weekend. And as you say, Falkirk are under no pressure. It's a great place to go and play at Tynecastle. And all the pressures on Hearts. I think they've done, you know, everyone spoke about Hearts all season, how good they've been, and rightly so. But I just believe that you know, my opinion is that they've just run out of steam. I do. I think with Shankland and Devlin at the time they came out the squad, that's coincided with the results just dipping just ever so slightly. And I think next season will be where you really do see Hearts kind of push on. But yeah, a really interesting game at the weekend, and I think Falkirk might just pick up the points.
Interesting, very interesting. Well, elsewhere, Dundee United hosts Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock, Joelle, rejuvenated under Neil McCann. I mean, as Cammy knows, ran Celtic very close. Celtic with that late winner last week. I don't know, how do you see this one going? I mean, do you see Kilmarnock against Dundee United? It's gonna be tricky for them, but I suppose they do look like a different force under McCann.
Yeah, they definitely do look like a different force. They look like a team that's now got a bit about them. They've got obviously Tyrese John Jules, who's coming into form, scoring goals for them, and they look like they've got that manager left, that new manager left under Neil McCann. But certainly, Cammy's talking about Livingston being under no illusions about the difficulty of what's ahead, and certainly that'll be the same for Kilmarnock. Every game, I think, fighting for their lives, picking up points where they possibly can. But I think if you're a Kilmarnock fan, you've got a bit of hope that since Neil McCann has come in, there's been that lift, there's been that improved performance level. Obviously against Celtic, they were very, very unlucky not to get anything from the game. So yeah, I think they can take great heart from that, and really look to kick on. I think it's 2 wins in the last 5 league games, so they'll be looking to turn a bit of form and consistency between now and the end of the season, but a real fight for them as well.
And it'll be interesting up at Tannadice. The pitch has been struggling with the weather. We saw Cammy at Pittodrie midweek. That pitch looked a bit rough. I wonder how much that's going to play a part in the game at the weekend. Yeah,
I mean, listen, they've obviously had a wee bit of stick about the pitch, and it hasn't been in great shape. I actually went and watched the game against Spartans during the week, and the pitch played okay. The pitch actually played decent. But I don't know, I think Dundee United are in a precarious position a wee bit. It's weird. I think their season's kind of petered out into not much. I think their hopes of getting in the top 6 are fading. And as you say, Killie again, it's difficult for me to say we want to be catching them, but Neil McCann's a good manager. I do believe that. I've had him before. I think he's an incredible coach. And he's obviously starting to get a tune out Kilmarnock, so it'll be a really interesting game. And as I go back to, I think Dundee United are in a really difficult spot. They looked quite flat during the week there. I know it's against lower league opposition, and they did do well to win the game with 10 men, but there's a flatness about the place just now, I think, because they've underachieved, and it'll be a really interesting one.
Yeah, St Mirren are kind of in a similar position. I mean, taking away the League Cup from that, they have been really, really struggling in the league. They face Motherwell, which is a daunting prospect for anyone at the moment. But Joelle, I've seen a lot of fans unhappy with Jens Bertolascu's team selection for Motherwell against Aberdeen. I mean, well, first of all, what did you make of that change in the goalkeeper as an interesting choice, although he was his go-to in the cup games. But can you understand why he did that?
I can understand why. I can understand the frustrations as well. He's done it before. I've always spoke highly about him and his ability to rotate the squad and not dilute the quality and not dilute his vision and his playing style, regardless of who he plays. So I am a little bit surprised, given where they were in the cup competition and what a cup progression would mean for Motherwell. So I am a little bit surprised, but equally so not, because, as I say, he's done it before. He's got, and he obviously evidently believes and trusts in the squad that he's got. But yeah, it's one of those when Charlotte, those incidents don't happen. We're not talking about it. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. So as I say, the incidents don't happen. We're not talking about it. We're probably talking about how great it is that he has the trust, the faith, the confidence in the squad to rotate. So yeah, that's football. You can't really do right for wrong sometimes, but yeah, the way that game played out, I can understand the frustrations from the fans towards him.
And Cammy, I assume St Mirren will make a right good go of this game at the weekend.
Yeah, and listen, I it's a weird one with St Mirren. I thought they'd kick on after their cup win. I thought this will be them. They'll push for going top 6. I think they'll really go in. They've just not. But I think Stephen Robinson, again, really good manager, and he'll be searching for loads of different ways to pick their form up in this last few months of the season. And yeah, I honestly think St Mirren still have a really good squad, and they've been unlucky in a lot of games. I think, as I go back to after the cup win, I thought that was them going away to go. But they've had big injuries as well to their captain, Mark O'Hara, and stuff like that. But they're starting to get players back from injury now, so it'll be a really interesting one at the weekend.
Remember, your Saturday listening starts at 9 o'clock on Radio Scotland with The Saturday Show, where you can hear from Lorenzo Amoruso, followed by Off the Ball at 12 and all the action on Sports Sound from 2 o'clock. Well, that's all we've got time for. Many thanks to Joelle and Cammy, and thank you for listening. Remember, we are here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day, so make sure you don't miss out. Subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a very good weekend.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.